Let me show you something.
Good morning.
You mean you don't trust the police?
Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Wow, it's been a long time since we've heard that intro. So good. Oh, Jerren, man, the mic fix it sounds a whole lot better now. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. And first, I want to give a shout out to Pam Leans and the folks over at the Equity Fund that's having their event at Hibernian Hall this morning. Was not able to get there because we are here to speak with Jerren and GenUnity. This is his third or fourth time on, so he's not a stranger to the Java Cafe. I also want to take a second and pause and just mention, some of you saw the post in reference to Minister Tony Anderson, who was a mentor, a friend, a brother. As I said in my post, a fusser adder in my 20s, and was a big influence on my choir directing. And so we will at some point, when I'm just Jimmy, reflect also on Mark and Minister Anderson as well. But just wanted to name that before we bring our guest in. Jerren is a man that's committed to community and is doing some great work, and he has some updates for us and some actionable items. So please make sure you share today's live and get some folks in the room, and let's go ahead and bring him in. He is on the road at a conference, working, training, and doing things, but is still here with us today. So what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Jimmy? Good to be here.
I'm glad to have you here, man. Glad to have you here. And so first of all, how are you? There's a lot of work going on, and it is AAPI Heritage Month, sir. And yes, so let's catch up with you, like personally, what's going on, how are things, and then let's jump into what we need to let the community know that GenUnity is working on and also offering to community as well.
Yeah. Life's good. I mean, it is, as you said, AAPI Heritage Month. There's a lot of exciting things happening. The first Asian Restaurant Week in Boston, right? I don't know if you've already gotten collected a couple stamps from different restaurants, Jimmy, but for folks who aren't aware.
Oh, I got to get out. Okay. All right. I got to get outside and expand beyond the Stellas and whatnot.
Yeah. I think Merengue's Dumplings does a really cool kind of like, I forget what they call it. I think it's basically like a dumpling challenge, where they invite folks to go get dumplings at like different AAPI owned restaurants. And if you go to like 7 or 8, you'll get some swag from Merengue's for it and a gift card. It's a fun way, I think, to that they're encouraging other folks, their customer base, other people to try dumplings across the city, right? I think it's a great way to just like them using their platform to lift up others. So excited that things like that are happening. I know I'm probably planning to get dumplings at least a couple times this weekend. So gotta put in the time. May is short. It feels like we're almost halfway through. So
today is is the 9th, and Mother's Day hits, graduations and things like that. So definitely wanted to name that and appreciate that. We had some programming. Our mayor wasn't able to make it with us this month. I wanted to celebrate with her as well, and just acknowledge, because we share a lot of similarities with being BIPOC and moving in spaces of advocacy and whatnot. There are a lot of life experiences that are common, and there's talk about, African American diaspora and BIPOC. We all come together and make our voices a choir, maybe not necessarily one, but acquire, no pun intended, we get a lot more done. So I just wanted to name that and celebrate you, sir. And just thank you for being with us and speaking to that as well. And so I will check out. I didn't know it was Asian Restaurant Week, so I'm gonna need to I'm gonna need to go. My reason for doing it is going to support my wonderful brothers and sisters, Asian brothers and sisters. That's the only reason why I'm going.
Selfless,
I'm going to
Jimmy.
eat.
Selfless.
I'm going because you remember when we went to eat. I think it was last summer, if not before. I went in with my mind made of what I was ordering and figured out, oh, there's a wide variety within Asian cuisine. And I just had it made. I think we went to a Thai place. I was trying to order sushi.
Yeah, we were at Five Spices, Chinese place. I think you were craving Thai though. That was my fault.
Oh, okay. No, listen, it just goes to the fact that there is a wide variety of different options that you can try this week. And so go out and support Asian Restaurant Week. And I didn't even know. So thank you. Not only community stuff, and that's community, but stuff for the gut and economic development as well. So we'll keep it balanced. So Jerren, what's going on? What is GenUnity working on? Usually you're telling us about, training opportunities and bringing folks in to get stipends, to get trained, to be community leaders and stuff like that. What's up?
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely doing that too.
Mhm.
So we're actually starting to applications are live for our programs this fall, and we're doing 2 of them this time, Jimmy, which is super exciting. We're doing both our housing justice program starting September 14th and our health equity program starting the same day. It's the first time that we're doing both leadership cohorts at the same time. They'll both have 50 people in each cohort. The majority of the folks in the cohort will be people with lived experience with those issues, right? And really centering their voices in the conversation. And we'll have folks from different professional spaces, nonprofit, public sector, private sector, businesses, working on those issues, right? And the goal is really to build this multiracial, cross-class, intergenerational, and intersectional community of folks who care about these issues and do want to drive positive change, right? I think I had told you this story once where, when I was in the mayor's office in Chicago, I felt like some of the programs that I was personally pushing, I'll speak for myself, I'll speak for the rest of the folks on the team, but were sometimes felt a little disconnected from actually what the community would needed, right? And I think that part of that disconnect was that relationally, it wasn't as close. It wasn't that deep trust, that solidarity, that mutual accountability. And that's really what we're trying to foster, right? In these programs, creating spaces for the folks closest to the issues to be in conversation, be in genuine human relationship with the folks who have that kind of institutional positionality or power, so that together they can come up with new ideas and new collaborations to drive change, right?
I wanted to make sure folks know, not only here on the screen as folks take screenshots sometimes with resources, also hyperlinked in the comments, you can go and get the information to apply to both programs. I actually have the application or the page open up here. So I'll put the link is actually in the comments, so you can go check that out there. And so there's some legislative things that you're working on as well, or either accomplished. I saw an IG post the other day, yesterday, where you were talking about coming on the show, and there's a nice long list. Let me just go through it real quick and check it out. But is there a deadline for the applications? Let's just make sure folks know that. And then what let's go into when we go into it, you can end with the deadline. Let's first talk about the Health Equity Community Leadership Program, because I think that is so important. Shameless plug, we have the health fair coming up on Saturday. So if you are around, go apply here. Jerren, I hate to do that, but I love it. Just don't forget the health fair this Saturday, everyone, at 11 a.m. at the Thelma Burns building. Jerren, I'm going to send you the information, and if you will,
please do,
and share it with your network, because
we definitely will.
We want to make sure that folks get the resources. But I'm going to go to the list. But why don't you start with telling us about the Health Equity Community Leadership Program, because that is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah. The structure of our program, it's 10 weeks long. It's basically an hour and a half to 2 hours of synchronous meeting time per week as a cohort. We say kind of 3 hours to give folks a kind of conservative estimate of time. It's usually in the evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. And the program itself is really kind of designed in 4 steps, right? It's first about understanding people, right? What are people's lived experiences on these issues, and being in conversation about how health inequities are present in people's lives, whether through, the healthcare system as we typically think of it, and more of like a kind of in the hospitals with doctors, but also the social determinants of health, right? The air you breathe, the housing you're in, the stress you have in your life, et cetera. The second step is then to understand that system, right? Who's doing what? Hospitals, health insurers,
Policymakers.
housing folks, policymakers, right? Exactly. And so folks actually go out and meet with different community partners working in those spaces, and bring that knowledge back to their fellow cohort peers. Really start mapping out, okay, what is this? How is the system designed? Where are there gaps, right? The third step is then about power, policy, funding, advocacy, and really understanding how are those levers of power shaping the status quo, right? Shaping the current system. And where are their points of leverage? There's often, I think, a moment in the program where there's almost this honest reckoning, right? Where we are going through the program, and I think often we have perceptions of, hey, this is what we think the problem is. Maybe it's bad people. Maybe it's, corrupt X, Y, or Z. And I think folks go through and start to realize a lot of it are these systems, right? And they're harder to change than we maybe initially thought. And there are also allies, points of leverage, ways to affect change, because, one of our members, LaShonda Watson, I remember she put it best. She was like, I just realized systems are all made up of people. And I just need to find the right people, and we can start shifting the system. Right. And so that's really kind of the first 3 quarters of the journey. And then at the end, folks go through a reflection exercise to think through, okay, what's my individual power, my positionality? How can I drive change? Right. We've had members who have, worked at local banks, who have helped develop programs focused on supporting people on public assistance to buy their first home. We've had folks share the resources that they've learned about with their neighbors, right, and advocate to stay in their housing, or to navigate different health systems, or to be better patient advocates. Ultimately, I think the program is trying to help folks answer, why are these problems so entrenched, so that they can move to a space of strategic empowerment about how they get involved, right? I think oftentimes we get blocked by frustration of just like, these problems seem so big, I don't know where to start. The whole system is fixed, and that kind of thing. And to move past that frustration to a place of, oh, actually, I see how small changes can be made, and how those small changes will add up to big changes, and so I can get started. That's really the journey we're trying to take folks on.
That's sort of the philosophy of like moving the needle, and the old school thing of little by, big things get done little by, battles are won. I don't remember the rest. But, and I may have misspoke, because I saw in the post, I just wanted to clarify, I saw in the post an election year in Massachusetts when I was like scrolling through, and I'm like, okay, for some reason that to me said that Jerren's about to go into some legislative policy stuff. But I mean, you are inadvertently doing that, because the more people are informed, the more they may, if they go to an advocacy day, getting this certificate and going through the program with you, it makes them better informed advocates to advocate not only for themselves, but then also for the macro and the larger community as well. And so that's the health equity one. And the next one is the housing justice.
Yeah. So housing justice, it'll follow a similar progression, right? Okay. People, system, power, change. But obviously you'll be meeting with different folks, and you'll be in a cohort of people who all have focused on housing justice, right? So similar type of learning experience of unpacking the housing system, but really focused within that issue, right? The part that you were mentioning, Jimmy, about, okay, that post in particular, we're doing these fall programs. That's a big part of the work. And if you can, I'm having trouble dropping the link in the chat, Jimmy, but there's a link to, I'll private chat it to you and see if you can post it. There's a link to nominate.
Get it in there, I'll get it out. Yep.
Amazing. There's a link to nominate if folks in the audience have friends, family members that they think might be a great fit for our fall programs on housing justice and health equity, folks are frustrated by those issues and want to figure out how to drive change, you can also nominate them using that link. And what we'll do is we'll just send them all the nice things you said about why you're nominating them, and send them a note so they can take a look and learn more. But to your point about the post, our work with GenUnity is really about how do we support kind of everyday civic leadership for folks to figure out, to your point, Jimmy, the small things that can add up over time, right? To find those points of leverage to shift the system as individuals, as communities. At the same time, we also need to figure out how do we make those institutions, particularly our democratic institutions, more responsive to that push, right? One of my mentors, Danielle Allen, likes to describe it as like, if you're going to pull the lever of democracy, how do you make sure that what's supposed to happen on the other side happens? And so this next Tuesday, May 14th,
Okay.
we're going to be doing a dinner at Merengue, where we're basically bringing a lot of democracy renovation organizations together. And we're doing a simulation on different voting structures, right? So that folks can kind of learn, hey, what's our current voting structure getting us in terms of the types of candidates? What could a new system look like? And we're going to go through 2 different new systems that different groups are working on.
Like ranked choice?
Yeah.
Is
Ranked
that one?
choice, yeah. Ranked choice Boston will be there for sure, and that'll be one of them. Kind of like a top 4 with a ranked choice voting, kind of similar to how we do the kind of city council elections, for at large. And then we'll also be showing a voting simulation around what's called like mixed member districts. But come to the dinner, the folks there, the partners there, will be able to explain it a lot better than I will. But to your point around the post, Jimmy, I think what was striking to me, and I sit on the board of Partners in Democracy, which is founded by Danielle Allen and really focused on how are we going to renovate democracy, make those levers of democracy more responsive to community needs, right? They came out with this democracy scorecard in Massachusetts, right? And we often think about, Massachusetts from a democracy standpoint. We probably think, oh, it's outside in. I think people are like, oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And that's why when I saw that stat that said, actually in the last 5 election cycles, Massachusetts has had the least competitive, state elections, and we're last in the country in state legislature effectiveness. I was like, that can't be a coincidence, can it? And
it's a little bit of there's a few implications there, but go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there were a couple other, and I'll drop the link to the full.
I was looking for it on the website.
I
see a couple of things.
Yeah.
Do you have a link to the event too, or a flyer?
Yes, I'll drop that. I'll drop that to you too. Yeah. So the scorecard, I've just pulled a couple of really other interesting stats from it to share. One is, I think, so Massachusetts is 21st in the country for the gap between our BIPOC population and our BIPOC legislative representation, right? And I think often, we look at the kind of top of the ticket type of offices, governor, mayor, and attorney general. We're like, oh, okay, like it feels like we're doing pretty good. But when we look at the legislative races and we look at representation, even legislative leadership, I think there's one BIPOC kind of legislative leader right now. That's also in the report too. We start to realize, oh, okay, there's potentially a way to renovate our kind of voting structure to get more competitive elections, more representative candidates. And that's really what we're going to be talking about, right? Let's be clear, I'm not the expert on this. I've got the privileged responsibility of being a board member at Partners in Democracy, but there are amazing orgs that are actually doing the work on the ground that will be there at Merengue on Tuesday, 6 to 8. It's going to be a free dinner. It's going to be delicious. anyone can sign up, but there is obviously a cap on the number of seats. So we
So
encourage folks to sign up early. Yeah.
Sign up early. So the link for the event is hyperlinked in the comments as well. And then also, if you would like to read the report that Jerren was referring to, that is further down, because you see the comments come in as I think most recent. So further up in the comments is the one to get the PDF, and the most recent one is the one for you to sign up for the event. And for those of you that are UCB members and whatnot, this counts, the training and all of that, that counts towards your community hours. So shout out to Eric Leslie and the folks over at UCB. There's, Jerren, I don't know if I told you, there's folks in here that get points for watching Java with Jimmy. They literally,
amazing.
They literally, if it's 9:28 and I'm trying to get off, they'll start commenting and keeping me on till 9:31 so they can get an hour. I'm like, man, it's a whole hustle. I wanted to ask you, Jerren, before we get ready to wrap up, like, and I've asked before, but why is it this push in your intentionality for this community voice? You can take your skill set, you can take, and you can go be a lobbyist, you can go work for an elected official at a federal level and do policy and things like that. Why are you so passionate about having sort of the power be pushed from the ground up? Why? What do you see coming out of it?
Yeah, I'm convinced it's the only thing that works, Jimmy. It's that's why. Having been in those positions of kind of like formal power and policy making and things like that before, and decision making, I just feel like I've seen how hamstrung you are by the politics and the power dynamics. And unless we fundamentally shift those power dynamics, I think part of that is shifting the relationships away from being very siloed, kind of intra-race, intra-class, right? And to actually being connected across difference.
Mm-hmm.
You don't shift those power dynamics. I think we're seeing that a little bit with some of the MBTA communities drama, right? And I think that unless we build that type of relational capital across race, across class, across age, across education level, all the things, then we don't actually, the systems reflect the culture, right? And so unless the culture shifts to be one that's more humanitarian, more connected, the systems are going to be constrained by that culture. Right now, our culture, to me, is still too siloed, still too disconnected, disengaged. And so to me, this is the only work. This is where it starts. And once we can get the culture to where it needs to be, and we can get the democratic systems to be responsive to that culture, then we're going to be really cooking with gas.
I love it. I asked you like that, and I'm sure you knew that it wasn't an at you question. I wanted to extract from you the reason why, because I think with all that's going on, and I'm not going to get political, but so conditioned. Conditioning is a part of this work too. We get conditioned and work in the system. Everything is political. If you flush the toilet, you're political because you're dealing with the Boston Water and Sewer Commission. And so let me ask you, as a younger man, as someone that's sitting back and there's advocacy going on at the local and sort of the micro level, and then we're seeing advocacy go on at the macro level. Now, board members and those that mentor and work with Jerren. Yes, I am putting him on the spot a little bit. I'm going to ask this generally. With a lot that's in current events and media, Jerren, I wanted to extract the passion from you around the power of the people, and I can't talk in that space with just not thinking about a lot that's going on nationally. If you had the opportunity to generally talk to young people that are advocating for their beliefs, and it's a very interesting time on our campuses and things like that, what would you, if you had a bullhorn to talk to all these young people, what is it that you would say around their stance in advocacy, their safety, and humanity? Let's frame it like that so I don't get you in no trouble.
No, I love the question. If we weren't on here talking about deep, serious things, Jimmy, I would be disappointed. Because that's where you and I go.
Yes, sir.
I think of it going back to that lens of strategic empowerment, right? Like the political is personal, and for every person, they need to think through that sense of strategic empowerment. Like, what am I trying to achieve? For whom? And is what I am doing getting us further along?
Yes, sir.
And often that's really tough to see, right? Like I know folks who are out there front lines advocating both sides of any issue, right? And I know folks who are afraid to engage in a certain way because they're worried about their job or they're worried about their mental health. And there isn't any, I think oftentimes movements build power around a shared agenda, but what we also lose a little bit and we need to be cognizant of is that often requires us almost like a flattening of you need to be behind this agenda wholeheartedly, right? It kind of flattens nuance in some ways. And I think that's necessary. And we need to figure out how do we also hold space for the folks who maybe aren't out there, but are allies, and they're afraid to engage in a certain way because they're personally at risk or financially at risk. They are afraid they might lose their job or they might do X, Y, or Z, right? And how do we continue to make space in the movement to bring other folks along, to embody the principles of kind of compassion and common humanity that are motivating the movement to begin with, right? And that's really hard to do. That's really hard to do because that kind of line between kind of righteous anger and righteousness, I feel like is a pretty thin line sometimes. Navigating that and navigating it well, I think is the difference between losing ourselves in the work and becoming kind of fulfilled, enlightened through the work. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
it does. It does. And I thank you for speaking to it. And it's a very interesting, I'll just be real because we're brothers, a touchy situation. And I just wanted to, that's why I was very specific about, I didn't want to use the S word and say that just in general, humanity being the point, but just also a point of encouragement for a lot of our young people. I've been having this thought, Jerren, that the post-secondary education system, how our young people view it. I'm going to say something that's interesting. Some, I think, in some frustration, I think the thought of some will be the necessity of it. You know what I mean? And so it's a changing time. You talk about movement. It is a changing time in our community. And I just really wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of speak to our young people. And if they see this and hear anything, to just be encouraged around humanity, around you gave a good tool of sometimes in compromise, you might have to give up a little bit to get to the bigger, sort of common goal, which is moving and should be built upon compassion and humanity. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And
Go ahead.
It feels like it's hard to know sometimes. So I would say the other thing that I'd say is like, it's hard to know whether you take a certain action and is it getting you the result you want?
Yep.
And it's easy to kind of like get into a doubt spiral, right? And I think that what I would say is for folks to kind of trust their gut, right? Like try to get centered in those principles of what brought you to the work to begin with, right? That humanity, that compassion, and also a kind of strategic understanding of systems and power structures, and then make that call and stand by it, and don't sit in that doubt for too long. Revisit it every once in a while, reflect on it, but I would also just say that sometimes I want to be clear that what I was saying is not meant to undermine anyone. It's more of like an encouragement of like, figure out where you stand in this moment, be open to learning and reflecting every so often, but also stand in your convictions, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. And that's a good endpoint in general around current events, around life, around advocacy, around, self-care. And being just 100% authentic with yourself. Before we go, we just want to make sure you remember a few links that we shared The first one is the link to apply for both cohorts. There is the health equity. What is the deadline? I forgot that. What's the deadline?
Oh, sorry. May 24th is the priority deadline.
Okay, so folks, you've got 15 days to go ahead and apply. That's 2 weeks and a day to go ahead and apply if you're thinking about it. You can also nominate someone if you think that they should be there. They may not watch Java with Jimmy. They may not have tapped into GenUnity universe yet. And so you can nominate someone in GenUnity. I remember this from a prior interview. You all will do the outreach to the people that are nominated. And also, if you are interested in the document that Jerren mentioned around the democracy scorecard and letting us know where Massachusetts place as far as BIPOC voters and citizens in relation to the ratio of BIPOC legislators and people in different houses and whatnot. And Massachusetts numbers are very interesting. And finally, you can also, there is a free dinner at Merengue next Tuesday on the 14th. And you can go to Eventbrite there and sign up for that and see in real time. Heidi, you need to go to this. I can just see you in there just commenting and participating and whatnot. Go check that out next Tuesday night, but sign up because there's space, food. There's a limited number of seats. So if you're thinking about going, if you're thinking about going and you know you can go, don't sign up, then don't go and somebody else could have had that seat. Jerren didn't say it, I did. So anyway, he just snapped. And Jerren, as Kelly said, is making good trouble, and I love every bit of it. So, and as Michelle said, always 100% stand by your core values and convictions, authenticity. Absolutely, brother. Thank you for being with us. Safe travels. I want to talk to you like when you first come back, just to listen to see if a little bit of a drawl is there. But Jerren, thank you so much. We will get the flyer and the link over to you if you could really share it with the network, because we in that health equity piece, and there are going to be a lot of providers, and Johnson & Johnson and Bear USA is going to be there. So get folks to come out. Maybe some of your cohort that have completed. This isn't the first health equity.
No, this is going to be the fourth. So we'll definitely share it.
Yeah, get some of them folks to come out and they can converse with. I just got an email from Johnson & Johnson now, and they're looking forward to it. So I will get the information to you not shortly after the show.
Sounds great. We'll put it out there. Thanks, Jimmy.
Right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, and give the wife my best.
Thank you.
All right, so
all right, y'all.
Thank you. See? All right, y'all. Hi, Jerren. Jerren is in Atlanta, y'all. And so when he first came on, he said something, and I was like, oh, I never heard it that deep from you before. I think he's originally from Chicago. I'm not sure. But it was good to have him in the room. Just want to acknowledge we saw or see Representative China Tyler over on Instagram. Good to see her in the room. Kelly is a current health equity member. So awesome. So Kelly, if you could help get the word out, I'm going to send it to Jerren, but your cohort, if you keep in touch with them, we are having the 3rd annual Your Healthy Java Joseph R. Betancourt Health Fair this Saturday, May 11th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I want to thank our sponsors, which are Johnson & Johnson and Bear USA. I'll just let that settle for a minute. Johnson & Johnson sponsored last year. And I have to shout out the great Dr. Rick Lee over at the Cancer Center at MGH. You all know that Dr. Betancourt made an investment. He's still around and personally invested and supports this platform. And when he went to a new assignment, Dr. Rick Lee stepped in and ensured that we got sponsorship for the health fair and sponsorship that will extend into some other shows and different things we're going to do in the health equity space. And I know many of you enjoyed, and we need to bring back the Your Healthy Java like twice a month. So we're looking at that as well. And so I just want to shout out Dr. Rick Lee and thank him for advocating and liaising to get the support from 2 major big pharma companies, Johnson & Johnson and Bayer. And so we appreciate them. And I would be remiss not to mention the good sister Makiba McQuarrie and the New Commonwealth Fund as well, who was a gold sponsor and generally supports the platform. And some of that is lending into some of the pre-things that we need to get done for the health fair. So don't forget the health fair. Go and sign up. Be one of the first 100. Those numbers are going up. I would go look right now. I think the last time I looked, we were just over or just approaching 60% of the first 100. So, and I know the next couple of days, Real Boston Media is about to promote it. Stacko is about to promote it. We have a guerrilla marketing company that I dropped some posters off to yesterday. And if you remember last year, those posters were everywhere. And so they're going to be everywhere again. Don't forget, if you see a poster in the community, take a picture of it, post it, tag me. And we might just hit you up and say, come by the health fair and get a gift card or a gift or something. So make sure you go sign up for the health fair this Saturday. Tomorrow morning, I had the opportunity to speak with the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, as you know, for the past, and Tina would get me. Look at Newton over. Where's he? He's on YouTube. I'm like, what? I'm like, that looks different. DJ Newt is over on YouTube listening. Newt, good to see you in the room. Darian, good to see you in the room, brother. See a couple of folks on here over on Instagram. Find Your Spark is on. I Find Your Spark over on Instagram as well. Good to see you on. So come out on Saturday. We are giving away a lot. Gift cards, 2 certificates to get custom made sneakers. I just ordered 5 sort of baskets. A couple of them will be themed for Mother's Day. Gift cards. I might give out some cash. So come. But the most important thing that we are giving out on Saturday is health information. And also, we got DJ Jeff 2 times. And also, we have Everybody Gotta Eat. And if you have never experienced Everybody Gotta Eat, now let me tell y'all, we're not going to have the lamb and salmon burgers and all that wonderful stuff. But anything that Brother Manny Merville puts his hands to for cooking is amazing. And so it's not dinner. And also dinner will be served. Well, I'm not going to, it's within a limited time. It's not a whole time. All right. So don't forget to show up at 11 and be one of the first people that have pre-registered. If you're one of the first 50, your name automatically or your ticket automatically goes in to get $100 gift card. That's going to be the first thing we give away in our speaking program on Saturday. So please spread the word. I appreciate you, brother, repping hard. The only one over there on YouTube watching. But good to see you in the room, New as always. Get the word out about this health fair. All right. Folks are paying attention. Both companies want to do some more work. And so we have to produce and let them know that there's a need in community for this information and investment. And we're doing our best along with Dr. Rick Lee, Johnson & Johnson, Bear USA, the New Commonwealth Fund, and other partners to make sure. And of course, Dr. Betancourt himself will be in the building. So, and I might pull a performer out. Shout out to the Black-owned businesses that we are contracting with, New England Sound, Brother Val Beats. Also, Show Off Marketing, also Pleasant Entertainment, also Who's Doing the Food? Everybody Got to Eat. Also, Brianna Parks and her baskets. Also, I got to hit Rena up and see if she could. Is Rena on? I want to see if Rena can do a couple of baskets for us as well. So we're going to give out a lot on Saturday. So come get the information. Uncle Rick is over on Instagram. Good to see you in the room. Jada is over on Instagram. Our meditation maven mogul that was with us earlier this week for Mental Health Monday in our collaboration with Pure Spark. Good to see you in the room over there. Folks are over there on Instagram. Okay. All 3 of them. No, I'm messing. I'm getting off of here, everyone. Listen, UCB, you all get an hour today. It's 9:44. Don't forget the health fair this Saturday, 11 a.m. If you have not signed up, go in and sign up. And we will see you tomorrow morning with Tina. I'm not sure if Tina's going to make it herself, but the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute will be with us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And again, Pam is, you know what? I should call her. She would kill me. But Pam should be wrapping up. Hold on. Pam's event is over at 9:45. It's 9:44. Hold on. Okay, hold on for 1 second. I'm getting some other texts here. Pam, there we go. Hey, are you done? Want to call to get an update live. Let's see if Pam, if I can call and get her in. I just saw something else via text. Yes, I'll get back to them in a minute. So let's see if Pam is if she doesn't answer in a second, I'll let you guys go. Y'all are not getting an hour and a half today. It is 9:45. So we'll be off of here in a couple of minutes. While we're waiting on Pam to come back and speaking about health information, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back with you.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
I'm a very sensitive person, and I feel the pain of my people. They know me, they call on me, and I assure them that I'm not a provider, but I am one who cares. I always say to them, well, it's better to know than not to know, because if you know, you can do something about it. Think about the loved ones around you. Think about the ones that love seeing you come through that door. Take the step and get tested. That's it.
Save lives and get screened for colon cancer. For more information, visit boston.gov/cancer.
That's right, everyone. We're bringing you the health information you need. Don't forget this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Thelma Burns building. We are giving out so many prizes, refreshments, free food. Ask the health professionals the questions you would like to ask. Also, the MGH van will be there as well. If you would like to get the vaccination, get updated, things like that, please plan on coming out on Saturday. I did not hear from Pam, so she's probably greeting and giving salutations and thanking her guests. So we'll get an update from her soon. That is it for me today. We will be back with the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute tomorrow. And look at Sharon Cornelius. She's like, keep talking. Y'all ain't slick. You have a blessed day too, Michelle D. Smith. I'm getting off of here, everyone. Thank you for being with us this morning. Please spread the word, invite, and bring others. I might do a competition. Who brings the most folks with them? Children don't count. All right. We're not having a children's health fair with a bunch of pediatricians and the children getting stuff. I might do a little competition. Whoever brings the most people with them, get them registered, and they get the health information they need. I'll let y'all know. We're getting off of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Peace, everybody.